Hi. All right, so we're going to be talking about division. And so here we go. When we're talking about division, we have different parts. So for instance, let's start with a number sentence. Here we have a division number sentence, and there are some special terms that we use to describe the different numbers in our number sentence. So for instance, the 8 would represent our dividend. This is the biggest number, right? Kind of like subtraction. We put the biggest number first, so then we can get a positive number for our answer. So 8, the dividend. Next, we have our division symbol, and then we have the digit 2. And this is represented as the divisor, and that is the one dividing. It's kind of like, I like to think of that kind of like if you've ever played the game Fruit Ninja, like there's fruit flying at you, and then you take the fruit and like karate chop it into smaller pieces. It's kind of like the divisor. That's the one dividing. And then lastly, we have the quotient. So this is the answer to our division problem. It's kind of hard to say. Quotient. Quotient. So the answer to a division problem. All right. And here's a different format to look at. So we might also see this in a division house. And the house is like this little sideways L looking thing. And we have seen this in our division problems before. So that is called the division house. And then here's our dividend. That is the big number getting divided again. Our divisor, and then our quotient is sitting on top. You might also see it like this. Like that. Just depends on how you divide. But that is how you can connect where their specific places are, whether in the division house or just in a number sentence. Okay, so let's go ahead and do some practice by labeling these numbers. I'm gonna just pick 2 of these. Let's do these 2. All right, 12 divided by 2 equals, all right. Well, let's first solve this. 12 divided by 2. If I had 12 objects and I wanted to split it into 2 equal groups, that would equal 6. You can also think of this as 2 times what number equals 12. So you can use multiplication to help you solve your division problems. So yes, I know that 12 divided by 2 is 6, or 6 plus 6 equals 12. Okay. So naming these numbers in our division number sentences. 12 would be our divisor, quotient, or dividend. Yes, 12 would be our dividend. How about our 2? The one kind of like the Fruit Ninja. It's going to chop up our biggest number into little pieces. Yeah, that's the divisor. And then lastly, our number 6 would be the quotient. That is our answer to our division problem. Let's do one more, and I want you to pause the video and see if you can do it. All right, so let's go ahead and keep going here. So 20 would be our dividend, 4 would be the divisor, and our quotient would be 5. Okay, so it's just important to know these names because um, not only is it good to be able to identify what these mean and what their specific names are, but we might be asked to find what is the quotient or find the dividend and things like that. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and pop back over to, hold on. All right, here we go. So I want to talk about different properties in division. So now that we know their names, now we can dig into different strategies on how to divide. Oops, here we go. So now that we are going to dig a little deeper, I'm just going to show you some examples and then we could do some practice. So here we have the identity property of division. And it says any number divided by 1 equals that number. And which is really slick because all you'd have to say, oh, 12 divided by 1? Oh, that's just 12. So why does that work? Well, if you have 12 of something, maybe I have 12 cookies, and I wanted to divide this into one group. Okay, I want to divide these 12 cookies into one group. Well, let's put them into one group or one bag. Perfect. They're all going to fit in there. We made one group. It's already in one group. That's why any number divided by 1 equals that number. Kind of like the identity property of multiplication. Any number times 1 equaled that number. Like 12 times 1 equals 12. 7 times 1 equals 7. Remember, this just means how many groups do you need? Oh, one group. So that is another tip to you is when you're dividing, think of this divisor as like your groups of, like how many groups do you need? Well, I need one group of 12. Or I need to split 12 up into one group, if that makes sense. Identity property. Dividing by 1 equals that number. Okay. So what is the quotient? You got it, 2. And we use the identity property of division. Very good. Okay, what about 41 divided by 1? What would that be? Yes, it would be 41. And last one, 28 divided by 1 would be 28. Good job. Okay, here is another division property. And this is called the division property of 0, kind of like the multiplication one. 0 divided by any number equals 0. Ooh, so look at our dividends are both 0, and then we have different divisors. So 0, remember this dividend means how many we have in all. So if I said, I have no cookies, and then 4 of my friends come over, I needed to take 0 cookies and divide them into 4 different groups because I want each person to have the same amount of cookies. But I don't have any. It would equal 0. If I have 0 to begin with, and I need to divide that into 4 equal groups, I can't do it, you guys. That is just simply 0. So that is what this property is saying. It's saying 0 divided by any number equals 0. And when I said, kind of like the multiplication property of 0, we have, so for instance, if we had 0 times 4, well, 0 groups of 4, that equals 0, or 4 times 0. In this, well, in multiplication, we can reverse that order, not division though. The biggest one has to go first, but 4 times 0, that would equal 0 as well. 4 groups of 0, 0 groups of 4, it equals 0. Okay, so for multiplication and division, this is a helpful trick. So let's do some practice. Sorry, 0 divided by 1 is 0. What about 0 divided by 5? What would the quotient be? Yes, our answer would be 0. All right. So here's another real world example. Splitting nothing into equal groups is still nothing. 0 divided by any number equals 0. All right, so I'm going to end our lesson. Thank you for tuning in. Let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.